The wedding day was supposed to be magical. My sister had found the love of her life, and I wanted to make her day even more special with a gift that carried both meaning and value. I thought carefully, not just about something expensive, but something that would symbolize family, roots, and the journey ahead. So, I wrapped two things: a small, old wooden box and a neatly folded envelope. The box, though plain and worn, carried significance. Inside it was a rusted key, an antique I'd kept from my late grandfather's house. My idea was simple. Inside that box was not the real gift, but a clue. That key belonged to a storage unit where the actual gift was waiting. A brand new car decorated with ribbons, along with a set of household essentials I knew my sister and her husband would need to start their new life. I wanted them to discover it in stages. The junk key was only the beginning. When it came time to exchange gifts, I handed the box to my new brother-in-law. He smirked the moment he held it. The weight wasn't much, and his expression already carried that arrogance I had noticed since the engagement. He opened it, pulled out the old key, and scoffed loudly enough for everyone around the table to hear. "Really? This is your big wedding gift?" He chuckled, waving the key in the air. "It looks like junk. What are we supposed to do with this? Unlock a time machine?" The laughter that followed stung, but it wasn't mine. It was his friends, some cousins, and even a few guests who didn't know better. My sister's face flushed red with embarrassment, though she tried to hide it with a polite smile. I didn't respond. I only smiled faintly and said, "Sometimes the most valuable gifts aren't obvious at first glance." But in my mind, I was already planning. He tossed the box aside and moved on, barely thanking me. That arrogance, that dismissive nature, it wasn't just about the key. It was about respect, or rather, his lack of it. 2 days after the wedding, when everyone was exhausted from celebrations, I quietly texted my sister, "Ask your husband if he still has the junk key. He may want to keep it after all." Apparently, he had thrown it in a drawer, still mocking it every time he saw it. But curiosity got the better of him. He asked me directly, half joking, half serious, "So what's the deal with that? Key? Some kind of riddle?" I told him. "Why don't you come with me? I'll show you what it opens." He rolled his eyes but agreed. We drove to the storage facility, a quiet, dusty place on the edge of town. When he inserted the key and turned it, the lock clicked. He pulled the door up and his jaw dropped. Inside was the car, shiny, new, wrapped with a bow. Alongside it were neatly stacked boxes filled with kitchenware, home appliances, and even a few luxury items. Everything a new couple would need to start their life. For a moment, he was speechless. His arrogance drained away as quickly as the color from his face. "You're kidding me," he muttered. This is all from you?" "Yes," I said calmly. "This was the real gift. The key you mocked was the only way to get it." Now I could have left it at that. Let him feel ashamed and let the guilt sink in. But I wanted the lesson to stick. So I asked him to help me move the items out and load them up. As he lifted heavy boxes, sweating and struggling in his wedding watch and polished shoes, I casually pulled out my phone and recorded. "Smile," I told him. "This video is going to make a perfect memory for the family album. The groom working hard for the gift he called junk." His face burned with humiliation, but he didn't protest. He knew he had no ground to stand on. Later that evening, during the family dinner, I played the video on the TV screen. Everyone watched as he huffed and puffed carrying boxes, his earlier arrogance replaced with quiet shame. My sister laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks, finally breaking the tension that had lingered since the wedding. I ended the video with the clip of him standing in front of the car, stunned, holding the key he once mocked. The room erupted in laughter, not the mocking kind, but the kind that made him the punchline of his own arrogance. He tried to smile, but his pride had already been shattered. From that day onward, he was different around me, more cautious with his words, more respectful. He never mocked my gestures again. Every time he saw the car parked outside their home, or used the appliances from those boxes, he was reminded of one thing. Sometimes the greatest treasures come wrapped in the most ordinary packages, and sometimes Mocking what you don't understand comes with a price, your pride. And that, I suppose, was the sweetest revenge.